What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got a lot of topics to go over, but before we get into that, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. Now let's go ahead and jump right into the first topic here, and we're discussing The Legend of Zelda, the 35th anniversary. There is a new rumor that has popped up, and it kind of collaborates or corroborates some of the information that I have talked about. Now, over on Twitter, Samus Hunter, who has a little bit of an infamous reputation when it comes to putting out information on Nintendo news and leaks or rumors and all that, has talked about how at the Game Awards 2021, the celebrations for the 35th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda will continue. Now, that right there has definitely set quite a number of people into a tizzy with more potential sweet Zelda news coming at this year's Game Awards. Now, in order to kind of break this down to see if it's going to happen or not, we must look at the past when it comes to Nintendo's history and at the Game Awards. And if you look at it, it does seem favorable in this case because Nintendo has multiple times shown off new things when it comes to The Legend of Zelda, talking about the games or revealing a game or releasing DLC at the Game Awards. Nintendo usually brings their biggest franchises. They usually have at least one good reveal for the Game Awards pretty much every single year, even dating back to the Wii U days with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, where Mr. Miyamoto and Mr. Aonuma both played the game in a room and showed it in a video, which was the first actual let's play or live gameplay of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So I do think that it's very possible that we get some more information about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, or maybe we get some more information on potential other Zelda games coming like Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. Maybe they announce a new remake. There could be a number of different things that they're going to do for the ongoing celebration, and I don't ever think that it was going to be tied to 1 year, considering how big Legend of Zelda is. And honestly, even dating back to what Nintendo did with the Mario 35th anniversary and how Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury didn't come out in 2020, it actually kind of bled over into 2021, all things considered. I think that could be the same case here with another Zelda game or two. Or maybe they even show a brand new trailer and they give us the actual name for The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, or the sequel to Breath of the Wild. I think that would be really good. And on top of that, that game, the sequel to Breath of the Wild, is nominated for Most Anticipated, so it seems like that could be a good spot for it, in addition to potentially having some other games. So I wonder what's going to be happening at the Game Awards, and I think that's one of the most exciting things when it comes to the Game Awards is the announcements. There's always good announcements, usually across the board, whatever system you play on, there might be something that you're interested in. Yeah, it's not always a hit when it comes to all the different announcements, but I've been pretty satisfied with a lot of the announcements at a lot of the different game award shows that Keighley puts on. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have here, and hopefully this rumor with more information about anything Zelda comes true at the Game Awards. But what are your thoughts on this, guys? You think it's going to happen? You think something's going on with the Game Awards and The Legend of Zelda? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here. We've got the debut sales for Shin Megami Tensei V in Japan, and it's definitely got people talking quite a bit, so I wanted to get into it. So Famitsu has published its estimated physical game software and hardware sales data for Japan for the week of November 8th, 2021 to November 14th, 2021. Now, one thing to note, once again, this is just physical games only. It does not include digital, which is obviously becoming a more increasingly bigger ratio of the sales than in the past. So Shin Megami Tensei V for the Nintendo Switch was the highest selling new release this week, opening up at 143,247 retail units. Now, in comparison, SMT4 did debut at 188,652 retail sales, so it was lower. And then if you compare that to Shin Megami Tensei IV Apocalypse, which debuted at 96,349 units back in February 2016, and remember, that was Media Create back then, not the Famitsu sales charts. And once again, this is all just physical sales. It does not include digital. One thing to also note too, the digital sales for 3DS games back then was always ridiculously low compared to what we have now with the Switch, where digital is being more accepted. So if you factor that in, it's seemingly looking like Shin Megami Tensei V had its highest debut ever when it comes to the series overall. Hardware side, the Nintendo Switch sold 87,267 units, while the PlayStation 5 family of systems sold 4,910 units. They are struggling to keep stock of that. That is shockingly low, not because people don't want the PlayStation as much, it's just because the stock just isn't there. It's just not there. So yeah, it's very upsetting to see that Japanese gamers can't go out and just buy it. That is just such a low amount to have. But Sony's probably re-diverting stock to the US and to Europe. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. The Xbox family of systems sold 2,593 units, while the PlayStation 4 sold 1,399 units. Shout outs to Gamatsu for the write-up here. Also, to kind of differentiate things just a little bit, the Switch OLED is also suffering some stock issues as well. Out of that 87,000 units, the Switch OLED sold 23,708 as Nintendo continues to do its lottery program for people just to buy a Switch OLED. You guys are seeing the top 10 sales. It's here, pretty much the usual suspects, but of course SMT5 at the top there as well. And very interesting overall. People are talking about SMT5, if it did well, comparing it to Persona, all sorts of different things. And I would say that it's a pretty solid debut. I definitely think it's a good one. Obviously, it's not going to be as popular as Persona is, which is the comparisons are always going to be there. But at the same time, I still think that it's a very good debut. And if you combine the digital sales, which Shin Megami Tensei V is definitely up in the top digital sales on the Japanese eShop charts, you definitely had a successful launch and probably heading towards 1 million units worldwide by the end of the year, if not earlier. So I think that's pretty solid overall. So what are your thoughts when it comes to the sales debut and also the issues that all of these systems are facing? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys. We've got a brand new platform fighter game announced, the free-to-play platform fighter, and this was rumored, and yeah, it's finally been announced. We've got the first trailer as well. It's called MultiVersus, and surprisingly, this is a Smash Brothers style platform fighter, but it's not coming to the Nintendo Switch. Not coming to Nintendo Switch. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So let's hear about this game, because this was rumored and it has some interesting characters to say the least. So publisher Warner Bros. Games and developer Play First Games have announced MultiVersus, a free-to-play 2 versus 2 platform fighter combining an ever-expanding cast of iconic characters and legendary universes. It will launch for the PlayStation, Xbox, PC in 2022 with full cross-play support, dedicated server-based rollback netcode, and content-filled seasons. Pre-registration is available now on the official website, and there is a very strong emphasis based off of what they said here on cooperative gameplay online. They have a deep set of combat mechanics distinguishing themselves. There's voice acting as well. There is a ton of characters in here. You've got Wonder Woman, you've got Ultra Instinct Shaggy. No, not Ultra Instinct Shaggy, but he definitely seems like he goes Super Saiyan and stuff. So they're playing off of that. You can throw sandwiches at people. You know, they have a lot of different characters. Batman, Superman is in there as well. So there is quite a number of characters across the IPs that they do have there, and that's why it's called the MultiVersus. It's interesting to see, once again, definitely not complaining too much, obviously, the no Switch announcement, but that was one of the big things because this is definitely a Super Smash Brothers clone style of game. It's like a Nickelodeon All-Star, it's a Brawl Out, it's a Brawlhalla, it's a Rivals of Either. It's that style of game. Obviously, it's not exactly the same as those, but they're playing off of what Super Smash Bros. And Power Stone kind of started way back in the day. So it definitely seems a bit weird that it's not on the Nintendo Switch platform at this point, which I've seen so many people talk about. But just giving my own impressions of the game, it looks okay. The features are very good. I love the online play. I like the rollback. I like the dedicated servers. All that stuff is really good. But the free-to-play moniker tagged to it for a fighting game, to me, always throws up like multiple red flags. That is a red flag machine when games start doing this free-to-play fighting stuff, and some people have access to this subset of characters, and then you gotta grind out 5 billion matches to get this character. That is something that I'm not necessarily a fan of. And on top of that, you have like seasons where they kind of go in and maybe there's certain things you can get this. I mean, it's just not my style of fighting game. I'm kind of more of a traditionalist, as you guys know. Just give me that game when it comes to it. Let me buy the game. Let me get my characters. And if there's DLC, okay, you can release that. But the whole thing being based off of seasons, like a Fortnite type of thing, like free to play, I mean, that type of stuff just doesn't appeal to me. So I'm not loving right now the structure of it, but the concept and the features seems really cool. Obviously, I mean, being able to play as Batman versus Superman and stuff like that. You got Harley Quinn. You got a lot of cool stuff in it. You got a lot of cool characters, and like I stated, there is a bunch of voice acting as well. Kevin Conroy is in here. You've got Abby Trott as Carmen Sandiego, and also Wonder Woman, Tara Strong. I mean, there is a lot of stuff. There is a lot of stuff in here, so it's not like they're gonna fall into the same pitfalls when it comes to the voice acting and when it comes to the, I would say, like sound effects, right? You're gonna get all that you would expect from those series, so that's pretty good as well. But overall, not necessarily too impressed, but I do think that it could end up being a good game. But I have some questions about the structure with the free to play and seasons and all that. But that's just my opinion on it. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, Metroid Dread. We've got a brand new update. Nothing too crazy with this one, but just wanted to let you guys know, especially for all you speedrunners out there, that there is a brand new update. This is version 1.0.3, and here are the patch notes. They fixed an issue where Samus's damage detection would disappear under certain conditions. So they also stated, we made this decision to fix this issue because there is a possibility that it may occur unintentionally, and if it does, it will result in a play experience that is far different from the way Metroid Dread was originally intended to be experienced. Now, from what I understand, sometimes speedrunners would use this to get a certain thing or do certain exploits within the game. So if you are a speedrunner, maybe you don't want to update, or you have multiple versions or something like that. But yeah, this is the update that's out there for Metroid Dread. Obviously, I talked about Metroid Dread recently on the channel in one of my previous videos that I did discussing the Game of the Year potential. And I also had a poll on the community page asking you guys, who do you feel was going to win the Game Awards 2021 Game of the Year? And a surprisingly high amount of you guys said Metroid Dread. So this game continues to roll along as they clean up and update a few little things here and there. And of course, I'm excited for the future of Metroid and the future with Mercury Steam kind of developing these 2D games. And then we also have the big boy Retro Studios handling the Metroid Prime series. So I think Samus's future is going to be bright here. So what are your thoughts when it comes to Metroid Dread and the latest updates? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, we do have a new job listing that does seem to indicate that Atlus is definitely looking for more simultaneous global launching in the future, or global launches in the future. So Atlus has begun hiring for a new member to join the company's overseas business promotion team. In a Japanese to English context, the goal of this team is to create and manage global marketing plans, coordinate with various departments and overseas partners, as well as provide a native perspective on cultural topics. With an English version of the job listing published, the overview highlights Atlus has decided to expand the global presence of their intellectual property in a meaningful way with simultaneous marketing and simultaneous launches. Atlus's popular RPG series such as Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, and Etrian Odyssey are supported by fans around the world. And with a growing market, our team also needs to grow and focus on targeting a wider audience. The goal is to expand Atlus IPs and its value among the global audience. Communicating and working closely with various departments and overseas partners, the ideal candidate will create and manage a global marketing plans with a simultaneous launch, a rewarding role connecting teams and nations. So I would think that this person would definitely need to be fluent in at least a couple languages or be able to communicate well enough when it comes down to it. And this is very good to see this. This is very good to see this because it shows that Atlus and Sega are serious about having more global launches, having probably more multi-platform launches as you go more global when it comes to things. And Shin Megami Tensei V was the first major global launch for them, and it was successful. We talked about the sales there. We know that the game is doing well over here in the US based on different eShop charts and also Amazon charts as well. People just not being able to find the game as much. It seems like Atlus probably didn't ship as many retail copies out to stores, but at the same time, they are having success. So it makes sense to me. I think that it's definitely time. A lot of other Japanese developers have already moved on to this, like Square Enix and Capcom and Koei Tecmo. So Sega and Atlus are definitely late to the party here, but better late than never because there's still going to be a lot more games to play when it comes to Atlus. So I'm very happy to see this. So what are your thoughts when it comes to all the different topics that we discussed here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.